And welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Dinocast. I'm Shaun, and I'm here with Jason.
Hello, I'm Fun.
I'm here with Adam.
Hey!
And we are going to take you through the upcoming month's Games with Gold. We're going to take you through last month's Games with Gold. We're going to take you through any other games we've been playing, TV, movies, things we've been watching, and then whatever else comes into our mind. So, without any further ado, Jason, what is September's Games with Gold? And I almost flubbed that because I'm looking at the page for August's. September, please, Jason.
September's Games with Gold. There's four of them. Gods Will Fall, Double Kick Heroes, Thrillville, and Portal 2. I think we should start with Gods Will Fall. Gods Will Fall is an action-adventure game where you play as one of a band of Celtic warriors hunting down the gods. I've never heard of it before, but the advert says easy to learn, hard to master. And the reviews I've read say frustratingly difficult and unforgiving and annoying. It looks quite nice as far as I can tell. I think it's partly procedurally generated, so luck might play a part in how well you enjoy it. And apparently if you give it a chance and learn the skills, it can be a lot of fun. Don't know if I'll give it that time. We'll find out. So I like the look of it, and if I'm enjoying it, I'll keep playing it. And if I don't, I won't. But that's what I like. That's what I think so far. Shaun, what do you think of Gods Will Fall?
Well, it's our monthly kind of isometric wave-based hack and slash, isn't it? It says here a personal tale emerges with every decision made, but I don't know if that means anything will actually change based on your decision, or more likely it's saying as you play the game you're crafting your own story, which is how every game works, essentially. But yeah, I mean, as with all of these kind of games, it's not really my cup of tea. I'm not seeing anything in this one to make it stand out from any of the other several similar things we've played. But, well, actually, I did quite like the look of the bosses. Like, I have a thing with bosses, and I think it's a good sign when I see a thing kind of come on screen and go, I quite want to twat that with a sword. Oof. Quite looking forward to hitting that. So, you know, they may have more of a hook than usual, because quite often these things don't show giant spider bosses that come looming over from the back of the picture. So I'm definitely willing to give it a go. I just surprised myself by noticing it was published by Deep Silver, the guys who published my beloved Saints Row series. More on that later. Adam?
Yes, yeah, this looks quite good. We've played a fair few of these on the channel now. I quite enjoy most of them. I can't see why I wouldn't enjoy this one. As Shaun says, the bosses look amazing on this one. The art style looks pretty good. So yeah, looking forward to playing this one. It was first released on January 28th, 2021, so quite recent. And as Shaun said, it was published by Deep Silver. Devs are Clever Beans.
Ooh. Which brings us to Double Kick Heroes, which is a pixel art post-apocalyptic rhythm action road trip game. Said that right. Good. I think I used to have this. I played this before. I think it was either on Game Pass or I bought it.
Do you know what? I was going to say the same thing. I think I've played this before as well.
I definitely played the first 2 or 3 levels, if not anything more. I remember enjoying it and thought it was good. I didn't finish it. I only deleted it because I needed it for something else we were going to play, the space. I think my only issue is it's a rhythm game, so although it's nice pixel arty graphics, I don't really look at any of that going on while I'm doing the thing. I'm just looking at the bottom of the screen, pressing the buttons as they come up. So you look up at the end of it and you go, oh yeah, that's what I was doing. I was driving a car through dinosaurs and whatever. Yeah, I seem to remember this being fun, so I'll definitely re-download it and have another go. Looks a lot good. Why don't we go to Shaun?
This is the one with the potential to be my my new game of the month. Really like the look of it. I'm sure I've played a bit of this before, or I certainly looked at it to play it before if I actually haven't got round to it. So really like the look of the graphics and stuff. I really like all the craziness going on the screen. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on this one, which is a bit annoying. It's the one that comes out halfway through the month. I want to play it now. Adam?
Yeah, looking forward to this one. This out of all of them, probably this one I'm looking forward to the most. Reminds me of a lot of games I played back when I was a kid. Actually, I quite like this style. Yeah, looks pretty fun all round. But this one, first released 11th of April 2018. Sorry, I just have to say, I do love some of the names of the publishers and devs of all these. They do make me laugh sometimes. So the publishers of these are Headbang Club, which sounds absolutely awesome, and Hound Picked Games, and the devs are Headbang Club.
Which brings us to Thrillville, which is, well, deja vu, because we just played one of these. It's a theme park management sim. We just played, was it Thrillville Off the Rails? Which I said was good. Yes. I praised it. I said it's the most enjoyable management sim I'd played for this channel. Mostly because you could avoid playing the sim part and just play the little games. But I'll be honest, I've not gone back to that game. So my concern is that this is an earlier version of that game. So do I really want to play it again? I don't know. I'll give it a try and see what I think.
Yeah, because this one's an original Xbox game. And
ooh,
what was it called? What was the other one called? I want to keep calling it Right on the Edge.
It could have. But do you know what? I did it from memory, so I thought it was Off the Rails, but it could have made
it. Probably is off the rails.
I'm pretty sure it's Off the Rails. Yeah.
I didn't research this. God damn it. Yeah. Well, anyway, that game was I think good for what it was, and this might be good for what it is too. But Shaun, what are you thinking?
I'm going to give this a really good go because I felt I really underserved Thrillville Off the Rails, Right Off the Edge, Fight for Your Life, whatever it's called, Endgame. And so I'm actually going to give this a try, and hopefully this has got all the similar things that Adam was so enjoying and made look so much fun in the video he did last month. So this is going to be the building simulator that I actually give a really proper go to for the first time since what was that City Planner one where you actually the 2D one? That was quite fun.
Oh, that was good.
I like that. I went back to that a few times.
Yeah, that was good.
So so yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this because hopefully it'll be as fun as the other one looked. Adam?
That was called Project High Rise, I believe. Yes. But yes, I loved the Thrillville Off the Rails or whatever it's called, and I loved the mini-game aspects to it. I loved all the graphics to it. There was something about it that didn't quite fit for me, but overall it was a pretty decent, solid game. So if this is the game that led them to that game, and obviously this is the game that they sunk their teeth into first, then I'm hoping that a lot of the features, the original features that make the game that we just played, are in this one also. If that made any sense whatsoever. It didn't in my head. So this one,
I zoned out.
This one was first released on February 9th, 2007. That was in Europe, by the way. It has other dates, but I'm not concerned with those because, I mean,
we haven't got all night.
Sort of.
I have.
It was published by LucasArts and Atari Europe, and the devs are Frontier Developments.
That's a real mixed bag. LucasArts, largely heralded as being a really quality game studio. Atari, very much the opposite after about 1979.
No, 82 was good. Astro Wars, that was a great game. Loved it.
I like to think they were trying to kickstart their sort of company again with this one.
Oh, that'd be like their fifth revival by that point.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Soldier Boy thought he bought Atari recently? Did you read about that? You know the rapper from 2009, Soldier Boy?
I do remember that.
Atari were releasing a cryptocurrency or some bollocks or NFTs or some bollocks like that, and they brought him on as an ambassador, and he for some reason thought, well, we know the reason, he's fucking high as a kite or drunk or something. He thought he was fucking now CEO of Atari. It was like a whole weird thing. It's really funny.
Oh, I missed that.
It's great. Look it up. Sorry, I've derailed things. Jason, I believe you were going to unveil
Back
the
on the
fourth and
rails.
final game for September.
I was. The last game of September is Portal 2, which, if you haven't played this before, what you're doing, play it. I will remind you of my criticism of a recent game, Relicta, which was, it isn't Portal. This is Portal. Actually, it's Portal 2. Portal was a pretty much perfect first-person puzzle game. The puzzles were fun, increasingly complex, but they felt achievable, and they had character, humour, world-building, and were fantastically enjoyable from my point of view. And to the fact it's a first-person game that I enjoyed playing, and I don't usually like playing those games. Really good. I'm going for that. Portal 2 just took that and ran with it, added more story, more characters, more humour, more puzzle elements. Just play it, is what I'm going to say. It's even got 2-player co-op, so play it with friends. I'd say now is the chance to play it. I'm going to play it again. So you should all play it again, particularly you. Shaun,
Why specifically me?
because I'm handing over to you.
Ah.
And I'm trying not to say Adam.
Good. I think there is an argument to be made that Portal 2 is the greatest game available on the Xbox 360. It's certainly in my top 10. It may be in my top 5. And it's purely personal impact. With the exception of BioShock, which is the best game on the Xbox 360, it's purely personal impact. The other ones, Portal 2 is a absolute fucking masterpiece. And if you haven't played it, make that the first thing you do on September the 16th when this is released. It is in every way better than the original, and the original was incredible. And this time, like, the story in this is fantastic, as dumb as it is. You can play through it entirely with developers' commentary. Like, there is a mode, so you can play through the whole thing, and like everywhere you can go various places and things. They'll explain the design process and this, that, and the other. But more importantly, this is the only video game, I believe, in the history of video games where 90% of it you are being talked to and at by Stephen Merchant. And if that isn't reason enough to go play this game, then I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. Portal 2 is an absolute masterpiece.
I can
Adam?
add to that.
Yeah.
And one more thing. Another voice actor is J.K. Simmons. So throw that in there as
Yes, he is, isn't he? He always makes everything at least 10% better. I freaking love J.K. Simmons. And the thing is, right, if you change just one letter, it goes from one of the greatest games of all time to Postal 2, one of the worst games of all time.
I used to sorry to derail this a bit, but I was always looking forward to the Postal games because I had in my mind that they were better than they were. I never played any.
Yeah. That was a
and
fallacy.
It really disappointed
of the time.
me.
Yeah.
When the next one came out and everyone went, no, they're all shit. Even though this is the worst ever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a different game. This is Portal 2. Good game. Adam, have you played any of them? We're on it today.
That just made me laugh. I just sat there and just listened to them two rabbit on. Yeah, I've always heard about the Portal games and never had a chance to play them, so this will be my chance.
I think you should play Portal 1 first, to be honest. It's quite quick.
It's Portal 2. Can
2
you go
hours,
through
isn't it?
the main story campaign in Portal 2, or is it's that weird little... It's a side thing in Portal 2, isn't it? The 2-player mode?
It's a whole, as far as I know, it's a different story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I only played the first couple of puzzles, so I don't remember.
I've never played it because it's online. I'm not a fan of online multiplayer stuff, but I'll play a bit with Adam.
I feel like I played it. I had a housemate at the time, and I'm fairly sure we played it split screen in the house.
Yeah,
we didn't get very
but
far.
It's not
when we
the
moved
main
out.
campaign, is what I'm saying. It's like a
I
side
do not
story.
believe it is. It's definitely the main campaign because it's different characters, and I think the other one's quite character based. So yeah, different.
Yeah.
I've always looked forward to these ones, so yeah, really looking forward to playing these. I've heard lots about them, and hopefully it lives up to my expectations of them.
It will.
But this was first released on 18th of April 2011, published by Valve. The devs are Valve Corporation. I failed to mention all the dates in the other ones, so I'll quickly do them now. Gods Will Fall is September 1st to September 30th. Double Kick Heroes is September 16th to October 15th, so that's the one that will go through to next month. Thrillville is September 1st to September 15th, and Portal 2 is September 16th to September 30th. And of course, there is 3,000 gamerscore.
And that was the Games with Gold for September 2022. Sean, over to you.
Thank you, Jason. And now we'll have a look at last month's Games of Gold. And we are going to start with Saints Row 2, which was available August 1st to 15th and was by far my favourite Games of Gold of last month, for the very simple reason is I accidentally put about 20 hours into it while getting really excited for Saints Row, the new Saints Row. I was like, I'll play a little bit of this for the video which I released the other week, and I made that video and I was just like, I could play a bit more of that, And I spent another about 4 hours. And then through the next couple of weeks, I was just like, if I'd got any spare time, if I'd got 5 minutes, I was going on ScourgeBringer. But if I'd got any serious amount, like an hour to kill or something, I'm like, I was going to play a load more Saints Row 2. It has really held up as an incredibly entertaining game. I was really quite surprised by it, because I thought, I really didn't think 2 was going to grab me. I thought 3 was the sweet spot. But no, the very silly, over the top tone is there in 2. It's not quite what it was in 3, but it's absolutely there. The characters were more than enough to hook me in. Didn't hurt that quite early on I noticed Neil Patrick Harris and Keith David in there, who I knew were in there anyway because they'd been brought back in later DLC in a later Saints Row game.
Okay.
But it was lovely hearing those voices, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just having a wonderful time. So yeah, I loved Saints Row 2. When I'm done with Saints Row and the next couple of games I've got, I'm going to go back and beat it, which is
Awesome.
unexpected. Jason, what do you say?
Well, I've got a disclaimer before we start. This month I've put the least amount of effort into playing these games. So I have done minimal amount per game, I would say, and in the opposite end to you, Saints Row 2, I didn't play at all, except for I played it about 4 years ago. So that is when I did all my research in preparation for this podcast. So I would say it's as good as I remember it. Yeah, I remember thinking this was a good game, and I haven't played it since. And I thought I finished it. I now think I didn't finish it, but I got very close to the end. And yeah, I remember enjoying this and getting into it. This was around the same time I was jumping between this and GTA, so it was a bit of a comparison at that point. But it's a lot of fun. It's got some silliness in it. It's still quite gang-based at this point. And yeah, I always love a free roaming shoot 'em up thing with cars.
Well, it's
So
like all
it's
of
what-
that
it's
is
what I
a
love.
lot more like 3 and 4 than I thought it was going to be, because that stayed through all of them.
Yeah.
That gang base, and then you take a little section of the city, and then you take the next bit and stuff like that. I really liked that.
See, I do remember that. I think I always didn't like the having to build up the thing, and I said before I don't like that having to earn your respect and stuff before you can do the next mission.
But it's a
that's 'cause
visual. It's literally a very visual way of showing you everything you do matters and progresses things. Unlike the more nebulous idea of a game that large just having a story telling you that, and it can be daunting.
That's fine, but I like options, and generally speaking, I like to push through the story a little bit, and then I like to do the side bits as I like to finish off the side bits in the area I'm in as I go along. So I don't like to leave it all to the end, but I like to have the option of doing one or the other. I don't like the fact that I can't progress the story without doing a bunch of other stuff that I may or may not be interested in. I might well be interested in it, but just don't feel like it at the time. So that's the only real downside I remember about the game.
Just
But yeah, I
on the
remember having a lot
side
of fun.
missions,
Yeah.
I'd forgot how much I love insurance fraud. I was playing that for like an hour.
I love just jumping in front of lots of cars and other stuff like that. Yes.
Yeah, just getting knocked for miles and then bouncing on more cars. Oh man, that's funny. It's so fun.
But I don't think I can bring much more to the current play style because I didn't give it any time this time, which I hold my hands up. But I do have some fond memories of it, so yeah, I think I will probably go back and have a little play of it at some point. Just not yet. I've had other things to do. That's
Like
all I have
what?
to say on Saints Row 2.
What precisely have you been doing instead of playing these games for the channel? Come on, Jason. I want a hour by hour itemization of your last month. Go.
Well,
this is why I told you to make the spreadsheet, Jason.
I've made the spreadsheet. I will put a link to it, and you can see precisely what I've been doing with CCTV monitoring and a little flash animation, if you're interested, of what I've been doing.
Every cell just says, "Shaun, go fuck yourself."
Caution advised. Sleeping mainly, but yeah, no. Saints Row 2. I remember it being good, and it's the one I had played the most of, so I didn't feel it was as important. And I tried to download it. Well, no, I tried to play it last night, and then realised I hadn't downloaded it to the particular Xbox I was going to play it on. So started the download, and then never checked if it had actually finished downloading, because by that point I'd gone off to do something else, which is in the spreadsheet. Check it out.
Adam, what you got to say?
I was really hoping Jason had played it this time around because I haven't. But I've got a good excuse.
Such a lazy
I've got a good excuse.
That's
I
ridiculous.
wasn't in the country. Just saying, I was not in the country for this. So, but I have played it. I played it a while ago, and John introduced me to it, and it's definitely. I wasn't sure, last time we spoke, I wasn't sure if this was the one that I'd played, and I did have a look into it, and yes, it's definitely the one I played, and I enjoyed it immensely. So I can tell you it is an extremely good game, if these two haven't given you an idea that it's an extremely good game already. But yeah, really, really enjoyed it. Big, huge thumbs up.
And that brings us on to Calico, the very cutesy cat cafe game where you take over a cat cafe from your aunt. Now I didn't get to the point where it explained what happened to the aunt, but I'm assuming the cats ate her. I'm assuming she had so many cats in there that one day, you know, she fell over, she was a bit slow getting to pouring out that food and No. Obviously, this was a lovely fancy land where nothing mean happens and everyone is nice, and I found this completely charming. I'll be honest, I didn't play a lot more than was in the video, because I was playing some of the other games. Well, early in the month, I didn't have a lot of time to do. I didn't have a lot of time to play games,
excuses.
and then I did the Saints Row 2 video, and then I just sat and played Saints Row 2 all month. So, yeah, I enjoyed what I played of Calico. I don't think it's quite the kind of game for me. It's a bit nice. I don't know.
It's not for you. It's nice.
Not enough ultra violence and murder. Too much on body positivity and adorable outfits. Did like the cats though. Did not like the dog. Fuck that dog. Love the cats though.
Poor dog. All he did was be a dog.
I know, and that was heresy. I also liked the raccoon. That was cute. Jason, did you play Calico?
Yes.
Please, for the love of God, have played Calico. Otherwise, this entire section is going to be me saying what I thought of it and then trying to get something out of you dead weights.
I can ask questions. Right, Calico, or Calico, or however you want to pronounce it. This is the game I played most of, but I mostly did it like at the beginning of the month, and now I've forgotten it all. So, yeah, because at this point in the month, I was putting the most effort into, you know, doing what I usually do and trying to play these games so I have something to talk about. I remember enjoying it. It was quite sweet. It was lovable. I like setting up the cat cafe a bit. I liked meeting all the people, having little chats and stuff, and buying stuff to wear and whatever, and buying furniture. I do love the fact that when I was watching the video, Shaun, you obviously have a very different playstyle to me in the fact that you never read any tutorials or what's going on or what people are telling you, and you just flick through them. And I thought, he's missed the scary furniture. Ha ha ha. You went straight for the cutesy furniture, as I've got like bat wing stuff in my cafe. But no, you went straight for the cutesy one.
To be fair, I'll give you a secret. I could not figure out what the hell I was doing in that entire section, so I just thought, fuck it, chuck stuff somewhere. I couldn't figure out how to get out of that mode.
I put in the furniture around. I started taking far too much time and effort in it. I was like, right, no, that wouldn't go there because we need to have space to walk through, and they've got to allow people to eat. You know, I was properly setting up a cafe and thinking about it, and you can't have two tables too close to each other. But all this, oh, I've not got enough chairs to make a convenient place to. Oh, we need these in the windows, all that sort of stuff. I took far too long setting those tables and chairs up. It was very time-consuming and enjoyable.
But I bet it looked good.
I was also
No, I wasn't
aware I
happy.
was making a video. No one wants
There's
to
that.
see me arrange a fucking chair.
You can edit it. But anyway, yes, that's the difference for us. So I did like it. It's not compelling enough to keep drawing me back, but while I was doing it, I was enjoying it, and I think I did go back for another go. I like to enjoy collecting all the cats and learning them. It's a very simple, relaxing thing to do on a lazy afternoon or something if you've not got much else on. Yeah, enjoyable nonsense with cats. That's what I think. Adam.
Unfortunately, I was still away at this point.
Maybe that should be my tagline for the. You should have said nonsense with cats. Shaun? Oh, thanks.
So yeah, unfortunately, I did watch the video, and Shaun, you made an excellent video on it. I quite enjoyed the video. So yeah, other than that though, I can't say a lot. So moving on.
Next we have Monaco. What's yours is mine. That I enjoyed playing a lot more with Adam than I did playing solo, and that's very unlike me with a game. I found solo, it was a little... What's the best way to put it? It felt flat, it felt lifeless. Maybe it's my style of play, because I like to sneaky, and then whereas obviously mine and Adam's, if you've seen the video, our play styles do not remotely mesh, and that made it a lot more fun for me. I really enjoyed playing with Adam because I didn't know what he was going to do, and I kept trying to screw him over. So I was having a wonderful time. But yeah, I'm almost glad I left it to now to finally play it. So I got to have a little experience on my own and then play it with Adam in that way, because I don't think otherwise I would have. I think otherwise I'd have just said, Adam, I've already seen this, just make a video and then I'll talk over it or whatever. But yeah, it was fun. It's not necessarily a game I'm going to go back to, but it's still on my Xbox, so I might. Yeah, but I enjoyed what I did with it. Jason?
Yeah, this is one I probably gave only about 10, 15 minutes to. Played like 3 or 4 levels. Liked what I played, enjoyed it. It's only single player that I played. Loved the fact that it can go from stealthy to chaos in a second, and obviously watching the video, that seems more likely in a more than one player game. I love generally the feel of it, the music. I like the fact you can't always see where the guards are, unless you sort of have to remember where they're going to be and watch out for the footprints and things. I like that. Yeah, love the shotgun bit, which I didn't get to, I don't think, in my game, or I didn't use. And then watched it in the video and thought, oh, it's picking up a bit now. I was more sneaking about and doing stuff. But yeah, lots of fun. But it's one of those I probably won't play again, knowing me. But I can't put the game down. Well, I mean, I did put the game down. I can't insult the game, is what I'm trying to say. But it's probably great. But I know me, and I probably won't play it unless we're doing it for something on the channel.
Jason, I had a
else invites me to play.
specific question for you.
Please ask.
It's a weird thing, and I don't know if I'm completely off base on this, but I thought the characters for some reason reminded me... Do you remember when Catchphrase went CGI?
Oh my God.
It would presumably
Catchphrase
have been
went
late
CGI.
in the Roy Walker years, if not after his era. But like Mr. Chips and that had a 3D model, and...
I know where you're going
The
with
characters
it, yeah.
in this really made me think of that for some reason. Just that design style. I just wondered if you remembered that at all. Because there's no way Adam would know. He doesn't.
Why would Adam know?
Because he doesn't kind of linger in weird nostalgia and half-baked memories of the 80s the way we do.
I
He's
love
proper
that
grown
show.
up with children and stuff. Unlike
No,
us
no.
man children.
I love that
My
show, and I know
memories-
exactly where you're going with that.
Hey!
I was glad you do, because
I
I'm
love
literally
Mr.
Googling
Chips.
images of that now. Oh, right, I've got Mr. Chips in 3D.
Yeah.
Yes, see what you mean. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
should
wouldn't
have
have made
known
the
Adam's
connection.
got a family. They're the people who watch this kind of light entertainment shite. Of course he'd have known what it was.
I turned it off when it went 3D.
Absolutely.
I love the old school 2D graphics, Mr. Chips. I
I
don't want none
really
of this 3D
love the
nonsense.
format of catchphrase.
I was
just
really
think it's
poor at the
absolute-
game, but yeah, loved
Well, to
it.
be fair, I think half the time that's down to the images on the screen. But yeah, I love the format of that show. I watched that probably way longer than I should have. I watched it when it was hosted by a robot because, like, remember that period where, and like, if you imagine, not to get political for a second, but if you imagine Keir Starmer just essentially a non-entity in a suit that speaks pleasantly and is never going to offend your mum, like, all of TV's presenters were that for a little while, and my God, it made watching anything so fucking bland. And then they realised they could get actors with northern accents and stuff, and things got more folksy and actually had personality and charm. But I'm off on a tangent. We're supposed to be talking about Monaco, what's yours and mine.
No, we're sticking on this.
I believe it was Adam's turn to speak.
I don't care. I'm trying to work out who the robot is, because I know Roy Walker, and I know the guy. There was a guy whose only main characteristic was he broke his foot, and he was in a plaster cast for the entire time he was on the show.
That may
And
well
then
have
there
been
was
him.
the guy who was on the Saturday morning show with Cat Dealey, the magician guy, who I can't think of the name of, and probably still does it now. I don't know who the robot guy is.
It's probably the foot guy. No, I mean he's a robot
Probably
in
the
that
foot
he's
guy.
a bland, flavourless mush. He could have been replaced by a robot and no one would have told the difference. I'm pretty sure those
I mean,
presenters all came off an assembly line.
The fact
It's
that I'm
like
remembering
leads in
him
American
as the foot
sitcoms
guy.
in the 2000s. Just they're all the exact same man.
Okay, but Monaco. What about that?
Wow, that went to places I didn't expect.
What's Mr. Chips doing?
He's robbing a museum.
Yeah, and a bank.
That's not a catchphrase. That's just a thing.
Oh, dear.
Do you know there's
yeah.
I can't hear the word Monaco without remembering one song from what must have been the early 2000s, because it was on TFI Friday, and they had a song called it was called "What Do You Want From Me" or something like that, and it wasn't a good song. It's not carried on with me for the rest of my life, except for whenever I see the word Monaco. Like in my head, it goes, "What do you want from me?" I'm like, why do I remember this piece of a fucking song? A bad song from so long ago. Stupid
Can't
brain.
pick what you remember.
Yeah.
Things just stick in there.
I just think
Adam.
of the Formula One track, really, when I think of Monaco. I don't think of this game at all. But yes,
They still use the chain.
Sorry.
The Fleetwood Mac
Mac,
thing.
the chain.
When I was a kid, it used to be dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun.
Oh,
Some-
yes.
that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chain, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, they do. But anyway, we're getting way off track. The game,
That's what I like.
Monaco. Yes, I really enjoyed this game. Loved playing it with Shaun, and as Shaun said, it does have a certain flatness to it when you play on your own. It's but with friends, it just hits that higher level. Because
I bet with four of us, it'd be an absolute blast.
oh yeah, I mean,
Or
it's,
impossible.
I think. I think it's down to all the different characters' abilities as well, because unless
yeah.
you proper coordinate, like everybody's doing different things because their characters do different things. So where like Shaun was like lockpicking, I'm like just digging through walls, and inevitably just running through like beams and stuff, and it was just absolutely chaotic, but absolutely hilarious at the same time. I think at one point, because whoever's hosting, you can't go to another level without the host. So at one point in the video, I try and go underground, thinking I'm at the underground, Then Shaun says, "Oh yeah, I'm an undergrad as well." Then we wander around the level for a bit longer. Realise, no, this is the same level. Let's try and go underground again. And then, because we go together, all of a sudden we're on the underground. We're like, here we are. Yeah, the underground. Perfect. So yeah, it's just absolutely hilarious. And yeah, the actual game itself, I quite liked. The graphics are simple and 2D-ish as they are. I quite like that sort of thing. So yeah, and actually, funny enough, when I first saw this, I thought it was going to be really hard to sort of figure out what was what when I first saw it. But when you start playing it, you get used to that straight away, and it's very clear what rooms are what and what are doors and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic game. So big, huge thumbs up for me. And it's still on my computers. Yeah.
Good.
I really didn't think you were going to end there. Sorry. It didn't sound like
Sorry.
the end of a flow.
I was waiting, but sorry. I didn't really have much more to say. I was just like, I should have handed it back. I apologise.
And
I'm still on holiday mode. Give me a break.
And lastly, we have Scourge, or if you will, ScourgeBringer. This is a wonderful, beautiful pixel art.
Scourge.
This is a lovely, beautiful pixel art hack and slash, let down, in my humble opinion, by the type of game, by the unstructured type of game of roguelite the developers have chosen to go with. Because otherwise, I love everything about this game, and I still keep going back to it, wanting it to not be the game it is. Because I get so annoyed having to redo all of it again and again and again. But no, there's such a fantastic game in here, and it's entirely on me that I don't enjoy this game type. There are a lot this is a game type that has exploded in popularity over the last certainly decade or so, perhaps a little less, but it's just not for me, and that's a crying shame, because otherwise I love everything else about this game. But you've already had an entire video of me lamenting that fact. I'm not going to bring you down any longer. Jason, did you play it? What did you think? Is it Scourge or Scourge? Come on!
Absolutely ScourgeBringer. I've even researched it today to make sure I was pronouncing it right. And everything on the internet says Scourge. Scourge.
That's a shame that's not how it's fucking spelled then. It's got an O!
Don't start picking out that spelling's got anything to do with pronunciation. Jesus Christ. Right. I played about 10 minutes.
Oh, let's go have a lovely scone.
People can't even pronounce scone or scorn. Who cares?
Don't
start
that one, Jason.
Flapjack.
Seriously, that'll go on forever. Don't start scone.
We've been on to the what would you put milk in tea first? What happens next? Who knows? Chaos, cats and dogs living together, all that business. Anyway, I played about
what
10
you do is you put the tea bag in, then you put the milk in, and then you leave that for a couple of minutes, then you put the water in. That's the way you make tea.
Okay, does the cream or the jam go on top of it? I don't know. Anyway, for anyone not interested in cream teas, I played a bit of it. I loved the way it controlled. I liked the various attacks. I did not play it long enough to realise it was a roguelike game, and honestly played it as a platformer, thinking this is a good platformer. I then watched your video afterwards and went, oh yeah, of course it is. So I didn't sort of have to repeat anything because I didn't get far enough into it to have to do that and get annoyed by it. But everything I played was really good.
I played it for 7 hours and beat it. I don't know what the hell your problem was.
I mean, I didn't die or anything, so I just kept killing stuff, you know.
Yeah, I did die once. What's the problem?
I probably played it for about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes at most. And then it got to a point of, this is last night, by the way. And yeah, and I had to play the other game. So I thought, sugar. But yeah, I enjoyed what I played. But if you're saying it's like it is, and I imagine I have a very similar opinion to you in that I can't be asked repeating stuff. I ain't got time for that. I just want to, and if I do have to repeat things, I want to know, right, enemy 1, enemy 2, done, perfect it. I want to perfect it like the other games we like the Meat Boy and all that sort of stuff, where you learn the patterns and just get through quicker. Yeah. I don't want to have to make it up all over again. Yeah, it's got a lot of good elements, and I'm sure people who love roguelikes will like this rogue. And it was, well, the platforming part was brilliant. So I will unlikely play it again now that you've just completely turned me off this game. This wonderful platform that I thought I'd play. But no,
Adam,
probably good.
what are you going to say?
I love this game, but like you, I can't stand roguelites. It just it just really bugs the life out of me.
Rogue dislike, am I
especially-
right?
Oh, don't. Especially when you get a game as good as this. Like, I don't know if we got across in the video or not, but the actual gameplay is absolutely freaking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really fault it in any way, shape, or form, other than it's a freaking roguelike. But I may have found a little saving grace within the game. Yeah. I decided to play a little bit longer. Only because I needed. Me and Shaun ended up talking a lot longer than the video that we prepared, so I had to play a little bit to record. So I'm playing through it, and I suddenly realised that if you kill that sub boss on every single go you do, you get a judge blood, and it basically looks like a little eyeball, and you can get one of those per go you do. Every one of those, you can upgrade your tree when you go to the tree that revives you, and you can get a perk. And so, all the times I was trying this, I was getting like 2 extra HP. My sword does more damage, and all these little perks that add up a lot. And I eventually made it to the boss, which is what I added in the video. And I don't think I would have made it to the boss without that tree. So, yes, 100% it is a roguelite, and you have to do the whole levels again. But you can, if you play it sensibly and really concentrate on getting that sub-boss, you can sort of build your character up, and that's what gets saved. So your character doesn't have to start from scratch. So yeah, the roguelite element, hate it, but there is a little saving grace there in the tree that you can do every time you die.
I think we did touch on that a little in the video.
Yeah, a tiny bit. Yeah, I didn't quite realise though, because I thought like once you got the judge blood from the level, I didn't realise you could get it again. I thought that was a one-off thing per level, but no. But you can get it over and over again on every single try you do. So you can just, even if you're absolutely crap at it, as long as you kill that sub-boss, you could just build your character up to the point where you're just really powerful, and you'll be able to take on the enemies a lot easier. But yeah, the game, fantastic, absolutely fantastic game. You'll love it. The roguelite element, like me and Shaun, is probably a personal thing, but we hate it. So
Yeah, you saying about when you were saying about other games like this, Dead Cells is like this. I put 10 hours into Dead Cells. That was what solidified my dislike for the roguelite genre, because the whole point is you play to a certain point, there's another big boss, and the whole point is it then sends you back to the start of the game. And I played that game, and I loved that game, and it just got to the point where I could not play it anymore. I just could not face starting it again, and it just killed it to me. And if they'd just... I would be really happy if this kind of... if doing that were a mode in a more structured game.
yes,
to give it that replayability, and then I don't have to deal with it. Again, this is me telling developers what to make of their games. I'm no fucking body to tell you how to make your game. You make whatever the fuck you want. Let's say my preference would be the whole 2 extra sales you'd get, me and Adam, when we wait for this to come free on Games of Gold. Okay, this isn't selling my point, but my point is I don't like it. It's not fair. I want to like it.
It is a crying shame because it's such a good game. It really is such a good game. I think I probably will keep it and just go back to every now and then, but
Oh,
won't
I
be
have a
playing
few
it for long.
times, yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
So as soon as you die a couple of times and have to restart the level, it's just like, oh, really? Oh.
And that was Every Game's a Gold for September and August 2022. So, Adam, what else have you been playing, mate?
Well, I went back to Assassin's Creed and then moved on to the next game finally, so I won't talk much about that because I always talk about that.
What, the next game in the Assassin's Creed? Or
Oh, yes. Next game in the Assassin's Creed.
what are you on now, then?
I...
So have you just started Valhalla, or is there another one
Valhalla,
since
yeah. Well, there's probably going to be one this Christmas, to be honest. That they generally bring out once a year.
I'm so far
then? You
behind.
just stop buying them, Jason. It's fine. Or skip
But, yes,
one.
I did stop buying
Valhalla.
them. That's the problem. I stopped buying them, and then I was like 3 years behind, and felt like I needed to catch up because you know this ever important modern day story which you have to keep up with. Which so far hasn't appeared in the 2 games I've played recently.
Yeah, I've noticed
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, my mate Cormac keeps trying to get me to play Origins, the Egypt one. I'm just like, I
It
just
is an awesome
cannot.
game.
No, I've heard it's wonderful, and if I'm going to take anyone's opinion on a game, it's usually going to be his. I just can't bring myself to play any more Assassin's Creed. Like playing those 4 games, one after the other. And I know there was a break between 1 and 2, but one after the other just absolutely fucking killed it for me. Like if I never play an Assassin's Creed game again, it'll be too soon. But I do own it. I bought it cheap in CEX or something because I've got it, and it's like one day I am just going to go, do you know what? I fancy a bit of Assassin's Creed. Then I'll probably absolutely love it and then never play another one again. But until that day, Adam, I apologise. This is your segment to talk about the game you were playing.
No, that's cool. So I moved on because, like Jason, I was so far behind because I don't get a lot of time to play games for just myself these days. So I was really far behind. So what I did, I concentrated on the storyline only, which meant I did miss a lot of content. But I got the main story, and I've got all the games, so my idea was I could go back to them once I caught up. I've only just caught up, and I started this about 5 years ago to try and catch up. So, yeah, I've only just caught up, and I don't even feel like I've caught up because the game's been out for freaking ages. But, yeah, so I've just started playing Valhalla, but I'm still playing the other one because I started to do there's like a little thing in the last one called the Greek Tales, and you can basically go around and they're like mini stories within her story. Well, depending on what character you pick, either the brother or the sister. But I picked the sister, so it's mini stories with people she's come across with. So they're not really anything to do with the main story as such. They're just like little side stories, and they're absolutely great because normally, like Assassin's Creed, like you go on and to do one segment of the main story will take you a good hour at least. Like you can't just pop on and do like 10-20 minutes, but these little stories, they're about 20 minutes long, so it's just like, oh, that's fantastic. So I have been popping back and playing those. But I am on Valhalla at the same time. But other than that, I went back to Monaco because I loved that, and I went back to Scourge. Thank you, Bringer.
It's good.
And
It's a roguelike.
and I got to the boss again, and I actually got to him with 7 hearts this time, and but he still beat me. I almost had him. Almost.
Do you mean the boss or the eyeball boss?
No, the boss. I got to the boss.
Yeah, he's quite tricky, isn't he?
Oh God, is he? Yeah, like, you kind of got to. I figured like the best way you kind of got to almost stay above him, but then when he shoots, you kind of got to like dive out of the way and then dive back in. If you stay near the bottom, you kind of get mullered.
You're fucked.
I did get, yeah, I did get this perk that I thought might help with that, and it's the slam will knock back projectiles. There's a perk that you can upgrade for that. And so I upgraded it, and it does work, but because of the reload time because of how slow the slam is every single time,
Yeah.
you can't you can't basically bat away all his projectiles in time, and then again you get mullered. So the best thing really is to just stay above him, and when he's about to shoot or throw his iron fist across the screen, you basically got to try and dive out of the way and then dive back in there again. But I almost had him, so I'm getting closer. So maybe one or two more perks, and I'll get there. But I went to what was it? God damn it! The Raven. I went back to the Raven.
Oh,
that was it. Yes, I went back to the Raven again, and I did the next segment. And guys, play it. It's so freaking awesome. Such a good game. I'm not going to tell you any details about it because it will ruin it for you if you do want to play it. But yeah, it really is an awesome clicker adventure. Yeah, but yeah, that is all I've been doing and playing. So over to Jason.
I don't know what I've been doing this month because I haven't played a lot. So I've looked through my played games, and I think I've only played one game this month that wasn't what we've already talked about. And you might want to jump in on this, Shaun, because it was the new Saints Row.
Hey!
Which so far I'm enjoying. And despite what I said earlier about the Saints Row 2 game and what I didn't like, is I've mostly been playing the side missions and not really focused on the story. I'm probably only 2 or 3, maybe 4 missions into the main story, but I've been doing loads of little side things. And I don't think I have to in this one. So this is what I mean. Get the choice to do it, and I do the opposite. So I'll be honest, I've seen lots of little headlines and thumbnails seemingly downplaying this game, and I've not ever clicked on them yet, and I don't know what people's problem with it seems to be. So far, in my little cocoon of whatever, I'm enjoying it. I think it is a little bit dated in some ways, but generally speaking, it's silly, it's fun. It's an open world shooter, like I said, I like it. The driving's quite enjoyable. The humour's pretty good. I like the characters. I like the customization. It might go to shit, but so far I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I haven't actually read anything, so people might be enjoying this game. But
No,
what I see,
I didn't read any of the reviews because I don't care. But a lot of people are complaining about bugs. An awful lot of it, an awful lot of the headlines and stuff I saw was basically like, well, GTA 5 seemed more advanced than this. And I'm like, well, even when GTA 5 came out, God knows how many years ago, it probably had 8 times the fucking budget this did.
absolutely.
But no, I've seen some glitches in this, but it's Saints Row. Do you know what I mean? I don't care because it almost feels like part of the world. Like Saints Row's world is crazier and more unrealistic. It's not quite to the point of being a cartoon, but it is, it is a world in which more bizarre things happen than something more grounded in reality. The entire start of it, where you're in this insane war zone, it ends up with you trying to punch a plane. It's like little Halo thing. I'm just having a wonderful time, and I don't think it's perfect. I do have a couple of complaints. There are certainly the attack, the landing, and the getting into the wingsuit animations and controls are fucked. They need a lot more work, and I do feel that the notoriety system simply does not work. There's basically some thugs, and you've got to really work to get more, and then you've got to really, really work to get even more, and then you can walk around the corner and they'll just immediately forget what's happened. But I kind of like that because it's not trying to be realistic. It's trying to make you feel more like a badass. So if you're not looking for a fight with the gangs, it's not constantly trying to pull you in one. Like you can ram into a police car and they might take notice of you, but that's not going to get you the 1 star that's then all of the police are coming at you till they get you, which then no matter what you do, you're going to get a 2 star and a 3 star until they kill you or you max it out.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of game, and it's taken me a while to get my head round because I'm used to all of these other kind of games like this being like that, but I am really, really enjoying it. I cannot... There's not a lot of it where I can say I'm not having fun, and parts of that are probably because I've put it on a slightly... Like, the difficulty is really random. I'm not having a problem with much of anything, and then there's like 1 or 2 things I'm having an immeasurable amount of trouble with. One of the side missions, you're on top of a truck, and you need to shoot all these other cars, and they give you the guns you need to do it, and I cannot get anywhere with it, and yet I'll go through half of the main missions and stuff and not take a hit or whatever, or not be killed or whatever. So I think the difficulty is somewhat unbalanced, but then again, that might just be my play style and stuff. I'm not using on this thing I'm having trouble with. I have to use a shotgun and a machine gun, and I'm not really using them. I've got a really nice high velocity 3-round rifle and a pistol, and I'm largely using the pistol for everything because there's a little trick with the pistol, right? Because if you hold left, you can go into a more focused aim. I
didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, if you do that to pick up on an enemy, right, it will usually, and you go slightly above the head, they'll usually, when you click it, it'll go towards the head. If you keep tapping that off as you're tapping the trigger, it'll keep recentering on the head, and you can just do. It's beautiful. It's lovely. But, I'm just having tons and tons of fun with this game. And I feel that of the couple of reviews that have been forwarded to me by mates who are like, oh, it's not getting good reviews. Oh, why do you need to be like this, guys? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you're really looking forward to this thing. You got it early and we're really enjoying it. Here are bad reviews. Why the fuck do I want to read that? I'm having a great time. But like, I feel they wanted it to be something it isn't. And that's not the game's fault. The bugs, to be fair, every game is released as a fucking buggy mess these days. One of the reasons I avoid AAA gaming. But, because of the realm because of the kind of place that I play games at the minute, I'm kind of used to not everything being 100% because I play lower budget games and that's what I enjoy. But I'm pretty sure Saints Row will have a couple of massive patches by Christmas and will be an all-round better experience. I just don't want to wait till then because I'm having too much fun. I did a save last night when I stopped playing, and I'm exactly 30% completion of the whole thing. I've put in hours and hours and hours, and I don't intend to stop until I've beaten it, and I'll have to begrudgingly do a video for the channel. But otherwise, I'm having an absolute blast with this game.
Oh, me too. So, and I've not experienced any glitches. I don't think. I think if I was going to be picky, I'd say it's not. You say GTA has a bigger budget. I think the world is a bit deeper in that sort of game. This is more of a set basically for action and stuff to go on in. You're not going to wander into a store and get a backstory for the person working in the shop or anything, unless it's part of the main story. I don't know, but the graphics aren't amazing, but they do the job. I think it's perfectly fine. Maybe the transitions between certain animations are a bit, I'll say, awkward, but this is nothing I picked. I'm only picking up on it because you said it just now, and I'm thinking, it's not as smooth as some other games, but it's
every time you get out of the car, you're damaged. It just adds kind of a charm. The thing
there
is,
was a couple of times I thought I was getting shot, and I wasn't getting shot. I was getting my car door was hitting me. Yeah.
I'm not going to play this isn't going to be a GTA versus Saints Row thing because they're very, very different games. If they're always going to be compared, this is the number one reason I will always pick Saints Row. I have just I've found a vendor who's selling more dances and stuff, right? So taunts. And
Yeah.
one of them is called the Elaine, and it is the little kicks dance that she does in the legendary episode of Seinfeld. And you're not getting that in GTA. GTA takes itself too seriously for that shit, whereas this has got a 20-plus-year-old reference to bad dancing in a sitcom that I happen to love. Yeah, that in a nutshell is why I fucking love Saints Row.
Fine. I will not debate you on the GTA things. Okay. But yeah, good game.
Good game, good game.
Good game, good game, good game. And that is what I've been playing this month, because apparently I didn't play anything else. I don't know what happened this month. Had a life, maybe. Who knows?
No, you didn't. Don't lie.
It wasn't mine.
We're going to do like Sunny in Philadelphia and slowly make the audience believe you're a serial killer.
Yes, make them believe. Yes. Okay.
So, time to
What have you
talk
been
about
playing?
Saints Row again, because
Yep.
that's the main thing I've been playing. No, we're not going to go through all that again. You've seen my video. Like me laughing like a child at the ridiculous nonsense going on. That's how I've been through most of this game so far. I've just unlocked somewhere. I just unlocked, like, as you progress through the game, you start building your empire and you unlock additions to your criminal empire. So, for example, I've just opened up a dodgy hospital, which are going to kind of run as a front for something. And that implied that it was going to open up... Because, my God, the amount of side stuff there is to do in this game is insane. But they've just implied that insurance fraud is in this. And I don't know if that was a nodding joke. Because the nurse is basically like, oh yeah, here's the forms I have to fill in to commit this fraud. He's like, no, I think I'm going to go jump in front of a car. It's like, no, that's really stupid. You'll kill yourself. He's like, oh, I'm going to go jump in front of this car. But I haven't found an actual marker to allow me to do that yet. But yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm just so happy with it. I'm just so happy with it. But we need to move on to what else I've been playing. So Saints Row 2. We already covered that. I played so much of Saints Row 2 as well. I just got utterly hooked on it. It's a great game. But outside of the Saints Rows, I went back and completed EXO 1. I believe the video's been out on the channel a little while. That's a wonderful game. It's such a simple little thing, and I beat... there's an achievement for how long it takes you to beat it at the end. I beat the whole thing in under an hour and a half, and it never despite its mechanic being very simple, and they do throw spanners in the works, and they do some changes and stuff like that by the end.
Is that the one with like the disc flying over the alien landscape?
Yeah. The ball,
Okay.
and you can kind of
Yeah.
turn
Oh,
it
ball,
into
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And it's got such a simple story that absolutely brings itself all back round at the end to be quite to be really cool, really fantastic. Because I didn't know what the hell was going on through the whole thing, and the second it gets to the bit at the end, it's like, oh, that's exactly that's happening. That's so perfect. Yeah, but I just never ever got bored of it. I had a wonderful time playing it. I would highly recommend it. It's still on Game Pass, and it's delightful. Something else on Game Pass that I wish I could talk about, but I can't because the video I made for it has been put back and put back and put back. Is Pikuniku, which the video is going to go live sometime in September. All that I can say about that really is the childlike joy that you see me having when I'm playing this game for the first time continued for its entire duration. I finished the video, I uploaded it, and I make my videos on a Sunday morning usually, and I spent the rest of the Sunday beating it. I might have played it I might have taken a couple more days after that, but yeah, that's still on Game Pass. That's fantastic. Watch my video before you play it. But yeah, that's fantastic. And lastly, because the start of the month I didn't have. At the start of the month I was finishing something, I think, and then just didn't want to start anything big because Saints Row was coming, which is why I wound up playing so much of Saints Row 2. But I went back to Aragami 2 quite a bit. I've played several more levels of that. I like it a lot more. It's still got the same frustrations. It feels so much more limited than the first one.
Did you manage to get it in classic mode?
No, I didn't bother trying. I was just like, fuck it, I've got 10 minutes, I'm going to play a bit of this. Oh, it's been 25 minutes. As you get further on, the areas you have are much bigger with a lot more enemies, more cleverly placed. And yeah, I properly got to get my stealth on. There is a thing I really dislike about it, which is that the whole game gives you the option to kill or not kill. And almost every level appears to have someone that no matter what you have to kill. It would have been nice if they'd have come up with a clever way around that to avoid it. Because I'm knocking these people out and it's still thinking, still highlighting them as an enemy. So you have to go back around to them, and while they're knocked out, you can then kill them. It's I'd rather play this. If you're offering me the game where I don't have to kill anyone, don't make me have to kill anyone, because that kind of negates the point of doing it that way round in the first place. Because this would be a lot easier game if I was just going around killing people quietly, because they wouldn't get back up again. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sneak around and have a fun, stealthy time. But Adam, did you go back to that one yet?
I think he's doing it now.
Larry hated the game so much he's quit the entire podcast in a rage.
Adam is now in classic mode. When I say that, when he wasn't here.
Dan's voice comes out of nowhere.
I'm going to be honest, I zoned out halfway through what you were talking about. I'm so sorry. You were talking about Aragami 2, and I was with you with that. And you're talking. And I I don't know if I started reading something on the screen. And then I came back to your conversation, and I'd forgotten what game you were talking about. And I spent another 20 seconds trying to work out what you were talking about. It was quite fun. It's a good game. You should play it. Because I thought you'd moved on to another game, but you hadn't.
No.
I was looking up what I was going to talk about later. I was going, oh, yeah. Oh, shit, he's still talking. Fuck.
Is Adam still showing online?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Have you played any more of this then, Adam?
Yes. Yeah. I played a bit more of it, and I love it. And I don't think I've got quite as far as you've got, but I do feel the way you feel. There's something about it that isn't quite as free flowing as the first one. So yeah. But yeah, I love sort of getting the stealth on. I tried it the way you like to play, where killing nobody. I found it much more of a challenge, and that was quite fun. Normally, I take the assassin to the, you're an assassin, why not kill everybody? But yeah, so I decided not to, and yeah. But no, it's a very, very good game. I do like it a lot.
Haven't played it.
And that is everything we have been playing, and or in Jason's case, haven't been playing. Actually, that's unfair. Adam's not played anything either. That's everything I've been playing, and screw these other two.
I have. I played the last two on the month. I just didn't play the first two.
I've played them all, just not some of them this year.
Jason, what have you been watching, mate?
Well, this might sound familiar to people who listen to last month's podcast. I watched the ending of Better Call Saul. As you remember, last month I said I watched the end of Better Call Saul then, and then after the podcast was recorded, realised I still had 6 episodes to go.
Yes,
because they were pumping them out 1 week at a time, and I realised I'd missed 2, and they still had 4 coming. But so I now have a revised opinion and can come back at you, Sean, with one of your arguments for why you're interested in
no
it.
spoilers, by the way. I
There's
do
no
intend to
spoilers.
watch it.
This is not a spoiler because it's right from the opening of the very first episode. So you said to me, why would I be interested in watching something where I know exactly where it's going? Well,
Yeah.
throughout this prequel, there is also sections of a sequel that appears as clips. Like in Breaking Bad, some of the episodes would have, like, particularly one that season with the pink
play.
teddy bear, the play,
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
Like the opening would be a little segment. Well, there's quite a few of those in between various episodes. Not in every single episode, but in quite a lot of them. And then when you get to the final, that's where they're heading because that's set in the future beyond Breaking Bad. So if you've got anything,
Okay.
so you won't know everything that's going to happen. There are things that go on after Breaking Bad. So if there's any reason for you to not worry about that, that's it. I enjoyed it. Good thing. I still think it's.
That would have been a really nice surprise if you hadn't just spoiled it. Thanks.
It's in the opening of the very first episode. You know exactly
I would have
what
figured
it
it's
is.
fine. I would have figured that out. Don't worry.
It's not like they do it in the opening episode and then never show it again. It's pretty consistent throughout the first season, I think, from what I remember. But yeah, so
Did you watch Lost? Wait, did you accidentally watch Lost? Because they did that.
I did. Don't ruin that because I just never finished Lost, and one day I might go back.
I never finished Lost.
Stupid move to Sky. Stupid show. Anyway, yeah, Better Call Saul. Recommend it. I still think. I think it adds to Breaking Bad. I don't think it's a thing on its own, but it could be a thing on its own. But if you watch the whole thing, they do complement each other well. So I'm not going to go over it again because we covered it quite a lot last week.
I find Bob Odenkirk incredibly enjoyable to watch on screen anyway. So
Oh, he is. Yes.
even taking it apart from Breaking Bad, I'd probably really have enjoyed it because I really enjoy his work.
I quite like him in. I'm trying to think of what it's called. There's another show which was one of my best of in either last year or the year before. It's an animated show, and he appears as a character in that, and it's on Amazon. And anyway, yeah, watch him in that, which I can't remember what it's called, but I liked it. So there's a tangent. Find out what I'm talking about and leave it in the comments because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Could be our word for the week. We don't even know what it is.
No. You tell
What's
us our
that
word for
thing
the week.
Jason was thinking of?
I think it's a one-word title about a woman with possibly time-traveling psychic powers, or maybe not. Maybe she's mad. Who knows? Anyway, he's in that. He's good. What else am I watching? I'm just adding to last month, really, because I was saying I was watching Always Sunny last month. I think I was up to series 8 or 7 or 8 last time. I'm now about halfway through season 12. Very much enjoying that. It's jumping all over the place. Well, not jumping all over. It's quite consistent, but it's trying
Really
new things
consistent.
all the time, I think.
Yeah.
But yes, you certainly see a pattern
humour-wise, it is
in
very
yeah.
consistently funny.
Yes, but I think there's certainly a period of they're trying this for a series of episodes. They're taking a different tact on it or whatever, and I'm enjoying all of it so far. And that leads me straight into the last thing I watched, which was I've only watched the first episode. It's a football-related show, and it is Welcome to Wrexham, which is the story of Rob McElhenney, or however you say it, and Ryan Reynolds taking over Wrexham Football Club.
I saw
Yeah,
something
yeah.
about that. Yeah, I never saw it.
So, yeah, I'm not particularly interested in football, but it's hopefully it's like a sports film, and it's a hero to zero. No, that's the wrong way around. It's a zero to hero story of
How is it
them
possibly
buying
going to
this-
be a zero to hero when it's two incredibly wealthy American megastars?
right. They are because
How
because
is
they
Ryan
never,
Reynolds, like, taking Rob McElhenney out of it, who has two incredibly successful shows and is an incredibly funny, talented, brilliant man? How is fucking Ryan Reynolds ever going to come across as the underdog?
The protagonist here is Wrexham. Both the place and the team, because they are below. And I don't know much about football, but they are below the lowest of the big four leagues
Yeah.
or whatever they're
Yeah,
called.
they have
divisions.
a weird system. It's like I think it's like Marvel's multiverse. Everything matters in this, but the ones in these 4 dimensions, the only ones that you really give a shit about. The rest are all fodder to be killed off in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I believe that's how football
they're
works.
below that, so they're like almost. They're not even. They're almost semi-professional. They're like the lowest you can get while still being professional, I think. Anyway, I don't know much about football, so don't quote me on all this. But generally speaking, these 2 people who, by the way, it makes clear hadn't even met before they decided to do this. They'd only like chatted online. Decide. Well, I think so Rob wanted to buy one, and then realised he didn't have enough money, so he needed someone with money. So called him Ryan Reynolds, and they both decide to just apply to take over this football club, which is not doing too well, and clearly they want it to work, and they'd love to make it rise through the ranks and get to the top. And I hope that happens, because he did a very passionate speech about watching the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl from going from, a bit of a shit, and it really improved the community in the town around it, and everyone sort of got together, and it made everyone feel better, more than just a sports team winning a thing. He said it was more of a community thing he did it for, and that's why he wants to do it there. Well, that's what he's saying anyway. Maybe he just wants to make a documentary. But so far, I'm enjoying the documentary. So that is the last thing I watched. Enjoyed it so far. Adam?
So, I think I've been living under a rock, because I come across an actor who's now a director, who seems to be very well known, very famous, but
Ryan Reynolds.
No, I've never heard of him at all, and I feel really, really, really bad. But Terence Hill.
I don't think we live under a rock. I've heard the name. I can't think who he is though.
So he is an Italian actor, a film director, screenwriter, and producer. He got, I think he's shot to fame in like sort of action comedies on like spaghetti westerns and stuff like that. And I come across a film called They Call Me Renegade.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and it's basically this army dude who sort of drives about in his 4x4 with a horse trailer and a horse in the back, and he hasn't really got home. He just travels about, and it's about he gets called by one of his mates who are in prison, and basically he's got to look after his kid and take him to this bit of land that he owns, and it all unfolds from there. But it's basically an action comedy, and it made me sillily like laugh out loud. It's like silly humor, but it's really fun to watch, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic. And so yeah, I watched that, and so I thought, I wonder what else he's done. And then I come across My Name Is No.
Fill us in a little more. What sort of era are we talking about?
It released in 1987. And so that's when the film released. It's very much an 80s sort of film.
Yeah.
And he's got a Jeep, and he has a chestnut colt named Joe Brown. And and it's just really, really fun. So his friend's son basically sort of comes across him in a sort of a side road cafe. I'm not sure what they call them in America, but yeah, just a roadside cafe, and he's really cocky and like really sort of obnoxious and sort of needs a slap. He's 14 going on 25, and he says, "Yeah, I'm after you," and then he says his dad's name, and yeah, he wants to see you. So he goes and sees him in prison, and he basically goes, "Yeah, I need you to look after my kid, and here's a plot of land I won in a gambling match." And he's like, "I can't look after a kid." It's just like, you know me, I can't look after a kid. And he said, "I wouldn't trust this to anyone else. You've got him. I've already named you as a guardian." And he's like, "What?" So he basically gets lumbered with this kid. And it's about them two sort of coming together and really sort of liking each other, and because at first they sort of hate each other, but then they get into a bit of trouble, and Terence Hill, he manages to get them out of it using some clever, very, very funny methods. It doesn't ruin the film, but there's this one bit where, so you got this big, massive, black sort of truck, and he's like coming right up behind his Jeep and sort of bashing him and beeping his horn, and clearly that they're about to get beaten up. So he slams on his anchors and forces the lorry off the road, and the two guys get out, and he stops his Jeep, and the two guys sort of start walking over, and the kid's like, they're coming over, and he's like, yeah, I know, just tell me when they start running. And he goes, they've started to jog. Okay, yeah, tell me when they start running. And he's like, look, you better go now, they're coming. They got a baseball bat. And it's like, just tell me when they start running. All of a sudden, they start running. He's like, okay, they're running. They're really close now. And then he starts the Jeep just as they get there, and then obviously he just drives away. And of course, by that point, they're miles and miles away from their actual truck. So it was just a really funny moment, and that happens again. And it's just all silly little things like that. And it's just really, really sort of fun. It's just a real fun action comedy. Definitely see it. But Terence Hill, absolute quality actor. Can't believe I hadn't seen him before. But I first come across it on Facebook. It just popped up on one. So when people sort of post them sort of movie clips, but they put a higher voice on the movies.
Yeah.
Annoying. It come up as
it's always slightly too fast. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. They all talk like chipmunks, and but they put like this like really loud music over it, so like they don't get copywritten. But it come up as one of those. And I was like, that looks so good. I was like, how do I not know who Terence Hill is? I started
God.
researching him. Yeah, and he's like got 6 Academy Awards. He's nominated 7 times. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like really. He's well known. He's not like some like. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. He's like must be in his 80s by now, like 83 or something like that. So yeah, but he says he's a director now. So I'm not sure what else what he's done, but. Based on Terence Hill, same subject, I decided I wonder what else he's done. So I come across this other. While I was researching, I was still like sort of watching the clips from Facebook, and another one of his came up, and it said "My Name Is Nobody," and it's a western, and it's got Henry Fonda in it.
Yeah, I know him.
And it's the clip is of him at the bar, and he's doing this. He's sort of coming to a bit of trouble in this bar, and they've basically made him play this game. And the game is he's got these drinks in front of him, and he's got to down the drink, turn round, and shoot something out the air. I think it is, or on a shelf, bottle on a shelf, something like that. And he does the first one. It's quite a small shot. Turns around, bang, shoots him. Shoots the glass clean, shatters, and so he turns around and goes, "This is easy." And he downs the next one, turns around, bang, shoots the next one, and now he's getting a bit drunk now, so he starts fooling around and he starts flirting with one of the guy's girls, and so that causes a bit of mischief, and then he downs the next one, and he's like, turns around, bang, shoots the next one, and again, perfect shot. Turns around again, and then it's like this big, massive sort of pint of drink, and he's like, "Can I like take it in like small gulps here? Like, can I like?" And he's like, "No, you got to down it." It's like, so then he basically tries to down it. I think he does it in 2 in the end, and then he turns around and bang, shoots it again, and then they're all like, "Wow, wow," and like they're about to beat him up, and then the boss of the place goes, "All right, yeah, ready to see you now," and they're all like, "Wait, what?" So then he just walks upstairs like absolutely like nothing's happened, takes all the money and puts it in his hat, puts it on his head and walks upstairs. And it's just it's one of them like sort of silly comedy type things, but this one is obviously based as I'm pretty sure this one's a spaghetti western. So yeah, and I've come across him. I now know about him, and so I'm now going to watch My Name Is Nobody, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go on to watch many more of his because absolutely fantastic.
One of the ones I'm looking through his. Well, there are a lot of westerns, but various other things he's done as well. One of the ones that's leapt out at me is in 1990. He both directed and starred in, as the title character, Lucky Luke, which was a western comic book I used to read when I was at school from years back.
Oh.
And I used to really love that comic book, and I'd keep meaning to buy it, but you either see really expensive versions or it's the early versions where they look completely different characters. But anyway, so it's something that's always been on my mind as a book I really used to love reading as a kid, and I'm sure the film probably is not the same in any way, but yeah, he made Lucky Luke, and
based
I'm
on the
just
Belgian
drawn-
comic of the same name.
Yeah, one of the characters is called Lotta Legs, which I'm impressed
It is
by.
also the pilot episode to the Lucky Luke TV show.
What? Well, now I've got
There
something
you
to do
go.
next month. Okay.
Yeah.
But am I the only one that didn't know who Terence Hill was? Like, I feel
No,
like
you're
I'm
not.
really stupid.
I mean, to be fair, looking at his body of work, there's no real reason like almost every film name is in Italian. It just happened to be the language recorded was English, but it's they're not, these aren't big, massively released all over the world films. I shouldn't imagine.
I don't know. I mean, he seems to be quite decorated actor, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just just a really nice sort of find. But other than that, I watched The Grey Man, which has just come out recently, with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. And yeah, absolutely fantastic film. Really enjoyed it. Although the ending, I'm a bit of a this won't spoil it, by the way, but I'm a bit of a happy sort of lucky go sort of guy, and the ending didn't quite fit that for me. Although it was an extremely good movie and a good ending, it's just personal taste. I probably would have done it a little different. But basically, he is a guy in prison. This is Ryan Gosling's character. He's a guy in prison, and this guy comes and starts talking to him, and he basically says that the thing that's going to happen in a couple of minutes is I'm going to walk out of here and I'm going to free you from this prison. And he's like, what? He's been in prison for quite a while, and he says, "Yeah, and I'm basically going to turn you into an assassin, pretty much." So yeah, and it's the reason why it's called the Grey Man is because he has no background. Like there's nothing on him. They've deleted everything about him, and he does all the dodgy ongoings that the government don't want anybody to know about, and they turn him into this lethal weapon, and he comes across this job and he executes it not quite the same way as how they wished, but this gave him a chance to sort of talk to the guy, and the guy basically says, "You're number 6, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I'm number 4." And he's like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, you just basically killed another assassin, another Grey Man." And he's like, "Oh," and then he gives him this this file that is basically dirt on his bosses, and the plot untwists from there. I won't tell you anymore because it'll spoil it, but it is very good, and it's Chris Evans. He plays the baddie, and I have to say, very, very good. I couldn't really see him as a baddie, obviously, after all the, Marvel and Captain America stuff and stuff like that. I couldn't really see him as a baddie, but yeah, plays it excellent. Really, really good acting. Yeah. Any questions?
I've seen it. I agree.
Oh,
I think
excellent.
it's very not well. It is, yeah, it's over. I was going to say over the. It is over the top. It is very sort of slightly cartoony humour. It's very
Yeah.
big explosions. It's meant to be an action film, popcorn flick thing. The Chris Evans character, the nearest to a baddie I think I've seen him play was probably, well, no, it's been a few things, but the character this is most like is the one he's in Scott Pilgrim. It's just that turned up to with more evil moustache and more arched eyebrows, and he's hamming it up properly in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Billy
really
Bob
enjoyed it.
Thornton's
I
in
did
it
not
as well.
mind the ending. Yes.
Yeah. I haven't
Nice,
seen him
good.
for a while, so yeah, that's quite good.
Oh,
He's
very good
in
time
one of
watching
the
this.
bleakest goddamn things I've ever seen, called The Man Who Wasn't There. It's
Oh, I've heard of
it's
that.
probably not a film for you, Adam. It's a Coen Brothers movie, and
Right.
it's in black and white, and it's about a man passively standing at the edge of a room watching his life fall apart. It's really fantastic.
Jesus.
It's a really big laughs in there, but it was just, yeah, it was fantastically bleak. Wonderful. He's so good at it.
He's good at that sort of character, actually. I
Yeah,
have to say.
his entire performance, because he anchors an entire movie, and his entire performance has to be, I don't care, this isn't phasing me. It's just this awful stuff is happening around him. He's great. He's so good.
I think the thing I remember him from most is probably Bad Santa. I enjoyed that film
Bad
quite a
Santa
lot.
is great.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that film for him. Just think about that, just makes me laugh. But yeah, yeah. So he plays the guy that fetches him from prison, basically. So yeah, he's quite high up in the agency and gets screwed over as well. But yeah, it's just really good, really good fun. Don't take it too seriously, as Jay said. It's kind of a silly action, but yeah, really, really good. Yeah, other than that, not too much else of note to talk about. So, over to you, Shaun.
Well, I've been watching quite a few things this month, which is weird for me, but I don't know, a few things have come out that I've really been interested in, and there's been a couple of times we've not gone to the cinema because there's been it's been a lot of two things out in the same week, and then just it all being the same stuff for a while. So yeah, not as often as we would. We saw, like, the best things I saw this month were Bullet Train. Have you heard of that one?
Yes. Yeah.
Which
Yeah, I heard of it,
puts
yeah.
itself across as like a big comedy, super violent action movie. But actually, although there is lots of excellent action in it, it's a lot more like Knives Out.
All right.
Like
okay.
Knives Out, but with constant action sequences. It's really hard to explain, but there's always a contrivance as to why one character doesn't kill another to keep them all around and all fighting each other. And then by the time it all comes together, it's one of those movies that if you're not paying attention by the end, like, some of it won't make sense, but if you're picking it all up, at the end they tie absolutely everything up in this absolutely beautiful little bow with a huge, like, dollop of pathos on top of it. It was so funny, and like all the actors in it, you'll know most of them. They're all fantastic, all have incredible screen presence. Yeah, that was just an absolute joy at start to finish. I really wish I could have seen it another time, but it's Cineworld have this weird thing of playing things like really early or late at night, and my buddy doesn't get out till 5:30, so half an hour then to the cinema. If something doesn't start till at the latest about 20 to 6, because you've got 20 minutes of ads, we really can't be seeing it. And then other than that, it's like 7:30, 8. It's like, great, well, we've got hours to kill, so I only got to see that one once, which was a bit of a shame. But the other thing
I'm
I got to
intrigued.
see, Oh, it's wonderful. It's so fucking funny. It's really, really great film. And the other thing, well, we saw two. We saw the new Dragon Ball movie, which was good. It wasn't. I think it's the weakest of what they've done since they've come back, because I've really been enjoying. I think they've been on to an absolute killer, and this very much felt like filler, but it was still really, really fun. But we saw. Well, we would have seen that anyway because I love Dragon Ball, but we watched that and then we saw Nope, and Nope is awesome. It's finally the Jordan Peele horror movie that I enjoyed from start to finish, because I always feel that he collapses in the third act by being too precious with his characters and stuff, and I don't normally like his twists. Whereas this time, and people are actually saying about it in this one, but I think he seeded where this was going perfectly. So when you get to the third act and it completely changes into a different kind of movie, I'm like, yeah, obviously that's what he's been doing the whole time. Look at everything. It's wonderful. It is like all of the characters in Bullet Train and stuff are likable because of the actors. The actors did an incredible job in this movie of making you care about almost every single character. There's a couple who you knew were going to be throwaway to one degree or another, but the main, like, 3 or 4 people you genuinely feel have lives outside of the movie, and you genuinely feel what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. And when it all starts, you know, obviously these things escalate, and the trailer does a wonderful job of structuring things in a way that you think you know how this movie is going to go, but a lot of the stuff in the trailer is actually earlier in the film than you would ever expect, because Jordan Peele likes to take the horror movie trope, and in this movie he actually takes like the pacing and structure of it and shift shit that you would expect to be the big finale right into the middle of the movie. And he does some really clever things with the plot. Like one of the biggest things he does with the plot is subvert the point that you think you're watching one story, and then quite a way into it suddenly like, actually no, this is a side of another thing, that's another story that's he's been telling the whole time, but not as clearly as perhaps one of the other stories. I don't want to spoil it, but it is really a fantastic film. Cinematography is gorgeous, and one of the last goddamn things I ever expected. Like, so I'm watching this movie. It is Jordan Peele doing horror. So he has what he does and what he does very, very well, and that's the mindset in which I went to watch it. So the last thing I expected were a bunch of Akira references, and like early on, I noticed a couple. I'm like, huh, that's a bit of a coincidence. And there's a really big one a little after the halfway mark, and I'm like, that is really out of Akira, but I'm sure this is still just like I'm sure this is just, you know, that's the shot he wanted, so it was always going to look like this. Then right at the end they do like, okay, minor spoiler here, but right, there's one absolute thing that everyone knows from Akira, which is when he drives that bike and he turns the bike sideways and he's going away from the camera while staring directly at it. Like, everyone knows that shot, and that's at the end of the movie, and I'm just like, oh, all right then, that was 100% intentional, and now far more awesome. And then I found out later that Jordan Peele was at one point trying to adapt Akira into a movie over in the States. I'm like, oh, this all makes perfect sense now. He's like, fuck it, I'm putting Akira in my goddamn movie. It was so awesome. So absolutely awesome. But even outside of all that, Nope is one of the best things I've seen this year. An absolutely incredible film.
Nice.
One of the things I like is that you didn't spoil it at all, which is good, because I've realised how well marketed this must have been, or at least I'm resting on what he's done before, because I have deliberately not even watched the adverts for this film, and I still want to see it. I've avoided any. Well, I don't know what it's about really. I've kind of seen the first 3 seconds of an advert, and that's it. And I've all deliberately not watched anything because I just know I want to watch it, and I don't know why I want to watch it. But you've just confirmed that it's good, so I'll watch it.
There's a bit in the trailer which is that your guy, he's in the van and he's kind of sitting in there, and like he slowly rolls down the window, he looks up and he rolls it back down, and he's like, nope, which is the big line from the trailer. That bit in the movie is so much longer and so much funnier, but it's so incredibly human. It's just like, it's a muddy moment for the trailer, but it's like, it's a couple of minutes or so of him just awkwardly, I literally don't know what to do or how to process what I'm meant to do right now. And like, the guy's just doing it without saying a word other than nope, without saying a word, just shifting uncomfortably in his seat. And it is just one of the most human moments I've seen in a movie. It's so great. I think you're leading that. I think it's arguably that's an Oscar nominated performance. I absolutely believed that was a character that exists outside that movie. He was so good. He so brought it to life, and that's bloody rare. That's really rare. So I still need to talk. I need to move on to the next thing.
Anything else?
Well, I wrote movies underneath TV, so I was going to do them in that order. That's what I normally do. And what I've actually done is written TV above it. So when I went to look below the movies, there was nothing there and I got confused. Back on track. So I've caught up with season 2 of Superman and Lois, which is so much more fun than season 1. Like, season 1 was miserable, and by the end it got kind of superhero-y, whereas season 2 is, there's a bit of the family drama stuff, but mostly it's just batshit insane craziness where they've done Bizarro, and they've done Bizarro properly with the full square Bizarro world and everything, and they've just gone, fuck it, do you know what's good? Stranger Things is good, so we're just going to have the upside down and it be Bizarro world. And I'm like, yes, yes, you fucking are. The only thing I think is really tasteless, and there's no possible way this is a coincidence, and it really made me awkward watching it. Like, the main bad guy is the Parasite, and they've used a version of it called Ali Ellison. Her name's Ali anyway. And she's in Smallville as a horrible cult leader who's going to kill all her followers and stuff, and it's like, that's actually, considering the Alison Mack thing, that's clearly intentional and really fucking tasteless, and like, not in a good way. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but I think that's really fucking tasteless of them. They can't they shouldn't get away with that. I can't believe someone at Network didn't say, fuck off. No, show some class. But other than that, it was a really fun story. So of course it's Bizarro, so you got to see evil Bizarro versions of all the main cast, and they were hamming it up. And one of the big reveals in season 1, I can't believe how they got this over with me. It's really the kind of fucking shit I hate, but Superman had a heretofore undisclosed brother who was sent to Earth, or half-brother, who was sent to Earth to destroy the Earth and blah, 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 blah. Well, in season 2, they basically just went, fuck it, let's make him Vegeta, shall we? He's just a snarky dick, and I came to absolutely love that character. He was great. So mostly season 2 of Superman and Lois was really fun. It's still a CW show, so it's still like, compared to regular shows, it's like a 6 out of 10. It's not, they're never going to be great, but I'm a big Superman fan, and I had fun with all Bizarro bollocks in it. And the CW, if anyone follows those shows, like, here's a good time to start, because they've basically, Warner Brothers has basically cancelled everything. Superman and Lois is the last one standing, I believe, and even that they've had to recast one of Superman's kids. It's like two kids, and yeah, it was a very sudden thing. They just suddenly released a statement saying, "Yep, he'll be recast for the next season," and he said, "Yeah, it's like a mental health thing or whatever." So, yeah, I'm sure if they recast well enough, it won't be too much an issue. But I've come
how
to
old are
like
his kids in the show?
They're late teens. Mid to late
I don't know
teens.
anything about the show really, so
I think they're like
15.
15 and 17 or something.
Okay.
So it's like about the age to be having all of the first relationship, romancy, drama-y bollocks, like still in school, everything's hyper important, but old enough that they can still be part of the superhero adventures, and one of them's got powers and the other doesn't, and all this kind of nonsense.
Aww.
So yeah, it's good. Well, it's not good, but it's very watchable.
It's good for CW. Okay.
It's good for CW, yeah. Well, funnily enough, normally season 1 is the only good season of anything they put out. Season 2 is normally just the exact same thing with a slightly different, couple of slightly different names and maybe a plot twist. So it was quite nice that season 2 was utterly different to season 1, while still, to be fair, the end being exactly the same as the end of season 1. Actually, it was largely the same season. They would just trussed it up in Bizarro bollocks. So, actually, yeah, it was kind of the same season again. Why am I giving this thing credit? It's a CW show. It's just lazy regurgitated trash. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed our regular planet merging with the Square Bizarro planet, all right? There's comic book bollocks that I'm just really easy to please with, and Bizarro is really high on that fucking list.
It's okay, Shaun. You don't have to defend yourself. No one's questioning your beliefs in what's good. It's fine.
But on the other end of the spectrum of comic book adaptations, I have one episode left to watch of the the first season of Sandman out on Netflix. And that is very, very good.
I've watched the first two.
It's one of those things that I've read the book so much that there's certain parts of it... Actually, I think that's unfair. It's not that there's certain parts of it that aren't how they were in my head. There's certain parts of it I don't think they've staged well for a TV show that is staged quite well for the comics. I think it takes a little while for Dream's character to really start shining through, and I think certainly in the early episodes, I think the way they stage it to replicate the comic book panel doesn't come across as though it's well staged, because a lot of the comic, or certainly some of the talking bits, like it's shot as though it is, some of it is angled as though you are watching a play. It's very clever in the way it stages things and the way it angles things. It's one of the many genius things about the book. And when they directly put that onto the screen, instead of looking like it's staged like a play as it does on the page, it just looks like a set. And like all the illusion is suddenly gone. And the problem is quite a few parts of those are, early on, are in the dreaming. The bit that's supposed to look a bit more magical and a bit more ephemeral and stuff. And that's the stuff that looks the least dreamlike and the least thing. That's the bit that looks like, that literally looks like, oh, I can see where the CGI is and stuff. It's like breaking the illusion. But I do think they really learned it. It gets... This is me critiquing it as a TV show. They learn from themselves and it gets better and better as it goes on for that stuff. And to condense certain things, they've merged... Because, like, this is just doing the comic so far. Like, they're changing some things and they're merging some things, some storylines into others, and actually doing a really good job of making it feel like making it work. So it feels like having those two arcs separately is almost redundant at that point because they've done such a good job merging them together. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it so far. I've got one episode left, or I should say I've got the last episode they initially released left, which is episode 10, and then a week or so later they released another episode as like a lovely little side story, which again is one of the comics. So I've got 2 episodes total to watch, but one of the main story. I really, really like it. I'm very, very impressed. I didn't think it was going to work, and I was so worried. For all Neil Gaiman has said, he leaked the terrible movie that would have been made and that got that cancelled and stuff like that. I do wonder if he's been getting in the way of these projects as much as he seems to imply he has, or how much it's just that we finally got to the right point and so he put his full weight behind getting it done this time. Because I think I think some of the attempts before have sounded positive, but obviously have never got to this stage. But we finally have. It's good. It's very good, actually. And if you want to see something very, very different, then Sandman is absolutely something to watch. And I hope they get to do... I mean, you could probably condense it into 5 seasons or so, which is still a big ask for something like Sandman. It clearly needs a budget. It clearly needs to find quite a niche audience for what it is. But I hope they get to tell the whole story, because while the first season, it's one of those things where it's made up of a series of stories, and of course, as I like in things, by the end you come to realize that actually it's telling one incredibly long story, and you can go back to it and rewatch it and go, oh, that's that then. That's that then. That's why he did that. That's where that's coming from. Completely recontextualizes the entire thing, and making it, as enjoyable, if not better, on a second watch. And that's always a wonderful thing.
Because I've only seen the first 2, and I have not read the comic book, which is weird because at the point where I was reading comics, that was one of the highest rated ones that was always recommended, and it was always on the... If you ever went into the comic stores, it was always there. And I had a flick through now and again, and always assumed I would buy it at some point, and just never did. It was always something else I got. So I don't know the story or anything, or even the characters, other than the names and what I believe goes on, but I have no idea what really goes on. So I've seen the first 2 episodes, so I'm watching it as a TV show. It does have a bit of the feel that I find that some book to TV shows have, and I don't know if it's a thing just in my mind or if it actually is happening, but I've found it with a lot of the Terry Pratchett ones, and slightly with the Good Omens, if we're moving on, between actually linking it to this, and some other shows which I know come from books, and it is to do with the staging and the way things are done. And I was watching it as well, going, I bet that was a panel. That looks like it's a panel from a comic strip.
Yeah,
but
some of the way Lucian and Dream speak to each other early on is directly out the comic books, and it kind of doesn't work because of that. It doesn't feel like they're naturally talking. It could be because that's the first scenes they shot together. It could be because they were trying to find their voices, or it could be because they were sticking too rigidly to the original text. I don't know, but all of that gets much, much better very, very quickly as well. The casting was awesome.
Good.
Can't complain about any of it. Stephen Fry is in it. I'm not going to say who or where, but that is possibly the most perfect piece of casting I've seen all year. If you've read the comics, and you see the second if you've read the comics, as soon as you see his introduction, you know who it is anyway, because that's the whole thing. But Stephen Fry's casting is absolutely incredible. Yeah, and the only other thing I've been watching, What We Do in the Shadows came back a little while ago, so I've been slowly catching up with that, and as with every season of that so far, it's been fantastic. It's a wonderful, wonderful show about vampires who are dicks. I really, really like it. It's a bit like Sunny in Philadelphia, but with vampires. It's just such a great show.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've not watched more of that. I watched certainly like at least 4 or 5 episodes of the first season. I don't know. I just didn't carry on with it. But yeah, I was enjoying what I watched. Sure, I'll go back to it. It's on the list to watch. We'll get there one day. Snarky vampires. Snarky dick vampires.
I run out of steam. Sorry.
I can see that.
It is late. It is late.
Yeah.
Well, we've just been told that Adam's son has tonsillitis, so he's got to go, so we're going to wrap it up there. What is our word for the week? Adam? Word for the month, I guess.
Word for the month.
The thing you need to put in the comments to let us know you've listened this far.
Oh, let's think. I mean,
Scourge.
we could. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Well done. Scourge.
Or Scourge.
Is it Scourge or Scourge?
Okay, put Scourge in the comment if you've listened this far. Tweet it to us, whatever else you want to do. But if you've not been listening this far and you're a dirty liar, then you need to put, I don't know, what's the opposite of Scourge?
Scourge.
No. That's already confusing because Scourge was the first thing you said. I tell you what, if you have been listening to this wrong, our word of the week is Scourge. If you have not and you're lying, the word you need to text us is Scourge, right? That couldn't be clearer. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.